Okay, let's be real. Our relationship with technology at work, it's complicated. It's a total double-edged sword, right? On one hand, these tools give us superpowers, but on the other, man, they can just drain us. We all feel that push and pull. But what if I told you the secret to fixing the bad side isn't just about cutting down on the stress? What if it's actually about doubling down on the good stuff? Today, we're going to unpack that surprising link between digital stress and digital empowerment. I mean, this is our daily reality, isn't it? You've got the incredible gains on one side, the freedom to work from literally anywhere, collaborating with people across the globe in an instant, the sheer magic of automation. But then, there are the drains, that endless stream of notifications, the pressure to be always on, and oh, that feeling of pure dread when your system crashes right before a deadline. It's this constant battle, this push and pull every single day. All right, so let's dive in. First up, we've got to talk about the digital dark side. This is the part we all know intimately, how the very tools that are supposed to make our lives easier can end up being a massive source of stress.
So there's actually a technical term for these stressors. Researchers call them digital job demands, or DJD for short. And what that really means is it's any part of your tech that makes you work harder, that requires sustained effort from you. You know, it's that mental gymnastics of trying to figure out a clunky new software, or the social pressure you feel when a Slack message pops up after hours. It's basically the hidden cost of being plugged in all the time.
And a really interesting 2024 study broke these demands down into 3 big buckets. First, you've got constant availability, that little voice in your head whispering that you have to be reachable 24/7. Then there's work intensification. You know, technology helps us work faster, which sounds awesome, right? But then the expectation just becomes do more work but even faster. And finally, my personal favorite, technology dependence. That moment of pure panic when the internet goes down and your entire day just stops.
So, you take all of these demands, you mix them together, and what do you get? Well, there's a name for it, and I bet you've heard it. Techno-stress. It's that very specific kind of burnout you get from fighting with your tech all day. And look, this isn't just something in your head. It is a real, well-documented thing that happens in workplaces everywhere.
Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom, right? Of course not. If it were, we would have thrown our laptops out the window years ago. So now let's flip the coin and talk about the digital bright side, how these same tools can actually empower us.
Yeah, so the flip side of those demands are what researchers call digital job resources, or DJR. And these are all the awesome things we get from our tech. You know, the tools, the flexibility, the access to information that helps us crush our goals and actually grow in our jobs. Simply put, this is the stuff that makes us feel capable and in control.
And that same study we mentioned, it also highlighted 3 huge resources. First, enhanced collaboration. Think about tools like Slack or Teams that, when they work well, make teamwork feel absolutely seamless. Then you have greater efficiency, that amazing feeling when you find an app that automates a super boring part of your job, freeing you up for the stuff that actually matters. And finally, increased autonomy, tech that gives you the genuine freedom to manage your own time and decide how and when you get your work done.
Okay, so we've got these 2 forces, right? Demands on one side, causing stress, resources on the other, driving motivation. But the big question is, how do they actually interact with each other? We need some kind of framework to make sense of this whole balancing act.
Well, for years, academics have used a classic framework called the job demands resources model. And honestly, it's a pretty straightforward idea. It basically says there are 2 separate tracks. On track 1, you have job demands, and those lead directly to strain and burnout. On track 2, you have job resources, and those lead to motivation and feeling engaged. Seems simple enough, right? But there's a huge problem with it in today's world.
And here's the catch. As this quote from the researchers makes clear, that classic model was cooked up way before our work lives were completely taken over by digital tech. It just never accounted for digital demands in digital resources. It's kind of like trying to navigate New York City today with a map from the 1980s. A massive piece of the puzzle was just missing.
So to finally fill that gap, this 2024 study surveyed almost 900 white-collar employees. The goal? To figure out how technology really fits into this whole picture. And their first big finding was, well, not that surprising. As you can see, the basic idea held up. More digital demands? Yep, that led to more strain. More digital resources? That led to more motivation. Okay, makes sense. But the real breakthrough, the part that changes everything, came when they looked at what happens when these 2 things smash into each other.
And this is where it gets really interesting. This is the crucial takeaway for all of us trying to survive in the modern workplace.
So they asked the million-dollar question. what happens when digital demands are high? You know those days, right? You're buried under a mountain of emails, the software is slow and clunky, deadlines are breathing down your neck. In that moment, do things like good collaboration tools even matter anymore?
And the answer is a resounding yes. In fact, this is the absolute game changer. Digital resources, they matter most when digital demands are high. Think of them like a buffer or a shield. Their power to keep you motivated is at its absolute peak when you're under the most stress. So when the arrows of technostress are flying everywhere, having great tools and real autonomy doesn't just feel nice, it actively protects you. It shields your motivation from all that strain.
So what does this mean for how we actually design work? The roadmap is pretty clear. It means we have to optimize our digital tools for the people using them, not just cram in more features. It means actively promoting digital wellness to fight back against that always-on culture. It's about using our collaboration tools to have fewer, smarter meetings, not just more of them. And maybe most importantly, it means actually listening to employees about what they need from their tech to do their best work.
Now, this whole framework is incredibly powerful for understanding the technology we have right now, but it leaves us with one massive, looming question for the future. The next wave of tech, autonomous AI, isn't just coming, it's already here. So as these new AI teammates join our companies, capable of solving problems all on their own, what kind of new crazy demands are they going to create? And maybe more importantly, what new kinds of resources will we need to invent to keep everything in balance?